John Smoltz, the Hall of Famer.
Hi.
Our good buddy. John, first of all, thank you very much for joining us. What was it like being a part of that rotation with Greg Maddux?
Well, you never know how long it's going to last. And when he got here, we knew we were going to be something special. And personalities, we all found a way to work with each other because we never really had that huge ego. But I remember the day we got the news, and I just said, we are going to be really, really good. And we were. We did it for 10 years. We had a blast, and we all learned from each other.
John, we always look at greatness in the past in our sport and try and figure out how it translates today. You watch games, you call games all the time. What's the biggest difference pitching-wise when you were on the mound to now, to the pitchers now?
The biggest thing is he had so much information. You know, we talk about the information that exists today. Well, Greg had kind of the analytics back then. And for Tommy and myself and Greg, we all three were different, but we all learned from each other. We picked each other's brains. We asked a lot of questions. I think that's the biggest difference in staffs today. I don't know how many pitchers actually ask each other, do things together, go play golf. We had a blast, and we had this inner competition that nobody talked about. We wanted to be kind of one-up each other. And nobody threw a no-hitter, so we never had to reset the clock. And we were all striving for that perfect game. And Greg threw more perfect games in the sense of how he executed than anybody else I'd ever seen.
Smolty, I tell everybody how blessed I was to come up in '98 and ride the bench with you guys for 5 years, because I literally just listened to you guys tell stories back and forth and just picked up just so much knowledge. I think the question I have for you, did he ever help you with anything or give you a different way to look at attacking a hitter and vice versa?
Absolutely. That was the biggest thing that each of us were able to do. He taught me how to have a great year. He taught me how to not be so obsessed with the outcome. In 1996, and he said, ride the wave as long as you can. And I was able to do that in ways that I probably would have never been able to do, having watched him, having watched Glavine. Glavine told me how to hide my emotions. Maddux taught me how to be in a position to be my best version of myself. And we didn't pitch like each other. You know, we didn't throw the same stuff. And that's what was great about the three of us.
John? Right
There we go. We got him.
Okay, we got him. Who's Maddux today, John? Who's the closest?
Ooh. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know that anybody comes close to Maddux today. You know, I know Kyle Hendricks always got the poor man's Maddux comp, but there really isn't anybody that I can think of in the game today that thinks like him, does what he did, come up with theory he did, and really deserve beyond belief. I mean, he just thought of things nobody else did. He had theories nobody else would think about. He believed them. It wasn't a gig. It wasn't something that was like he just put on. The one thing about Greg Maddux is he did interviews poorly on purpose. He wanted people to not know where he was coming from. If he was a poker player, he was never showing his hand. He never showed his cards, and he never will. And I'm sure even in this documentary, there's going to be some aw shucks, I don't know, because we did more interviews about Greg than Greg did about himself.
Wow.
We got to take him inside, though, Smoltz.
Yeah, what did you
tell
ask
people
him?
how, like, you know, back in the day, it was this big thing to get on the plane, and it was like a fashion show. Not for myself and John Smoltz, but a lot of guys were getting on. I think Greg wore the same outfit to and from every road trip for about a 3-year window, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it took a while to catch on to his little shtick. You know, he had more at the time, more video game cartridges than certain things you would wear, if you know what I mean. Like I would see him on the golf course and go, "Wait a minute, aren't those your suit pants?" He's like, "Yeah." I mean, what? I'm like, what? And different cares in the world about how he looked.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of things that he went about that most people would go, this is not a big leaguer. There's no way this guy's a Hall of Famer. But that's the part of his life that he didn't care. And you know what? He was going to go and do things his own way.
How was he when he first walked in, when he first came over as a free agent and walked in the door? How did he endear himself to the group?
You know, the biggest thing, and look, I don't know if I touch upon this in the documentary. He was great, right? He walked in, and we knew instantaneously we were going to be together, do a lot of things. But he was upset about the Chicago Cubs. Let's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he definitely was a little bitter, and I could understand, you know, all those things that went down and how they went down. And it took a little while to reset and say, I'm an Atlanta Brave and move forward. But we had to remind him to turn the page a few times when it came to the Chicago Cubs. But I get that. But it was so easy transitionally because he liked to play cards, he liked to play golf, he liked to mess around and have fun. So that part was easy. And I'm just telling you, there were rumors we were going to get Barry Bonds, and nobody believed them. And when this trade came down, our whole team went to another level, and that's how important it was for us.
Well, once again, the documentary, the latest edition of MLB Network Presents Sunday, right here on the network, 8 o'clock Eastern, one of a kind, profiling Greg Maddux. John Smoltz is in the doc, Chipper Jones, and a host of others. Barry Bonds is in the doc, so we look forward to that. And John, we look forward to hearing you on the call tonight for the Phillies and Braves. Have a good game.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys, for having me.